Hello, fellow GMM students. My name is Rolly. I'm 23 years old and I'm in my 7th semester. Unfortunately, I can't be here to tell you about my experience during my internship, so I decided to make a video and give you some insight of the most important things that I have learned. My mentor company was DIVE, which is a global provider of control systems for power and control technology, marine and offshore technology, and wind power technology. They are located in Skiva and has been up and running since 1933. They have subsidiaries around the world, and the biggest one is, I believe, in China. Dive has been my mentor since 3rd semester, where I made several projects within the supply chain management department, and but during my internship, I was moved to production because of the lack of work that they could give me. And here I was given a new mentor. My main task was to kickstart the execution of their functional strategy, which is lean implementation in the operations. So I had to refresh my knowledge from 2nd semester, and you can actually expect that this can happen where a different task will be given to you for your internship. And specifically, my task was to identify operations improvement in the production, which is hereby flow optimization of products. Therefore, I worked with value stream mapping. Theoretically, value stream mapping should be done in a team where top management should actually be a part of it. However, I was alone all the time, and I learned to be independent in that way. I was able to identify the current states for almost all of their product groups. However, creating the future state requires the presence of top management, because it is their decision how they want to how they want the flow of the product should be. Of course, I came up with suggestions for improvements, but in the end, it is their decisions that count. And this means that most of the time during my internship, it was dedicated to determining the current state and to identify and present to the management potential improvements. Also, I provide them with the actual flow of their products to give them an insight of the waste that were occurring in their production, because they actually didn't have much of an idea what was going on. I used time study, which is a natural data collection method for value stream mapping, along with Gemba, and this really opens up questions regarding the values that the process give, if they give any values at all. I saw during my observations, because it requires observations, physical observations in the production to be able to get an insight of what was going on. And in this way, I saw how people react to changes. For example, the observation method itself, which means that using change management was a must. Understanding people's reaction is crucial in order to avoid getting the wrong information due to their resistance. If they resist, and most likely some people will, some people will not. But most important is to get the best out of people through participation and involvement, which is a big part of the lean philosophy. I know about value stream mapping in theory, but the practical execution or implementation experience was what I lacked, and therefore I learned that knowing theory does not necessarily mean that it is 100% practically applicable. If you do so, if you really 100% follow a theory, it will slow down your whole process, because there are some certain things in a company that makes it hard to fully apply theory and comprehend the whole thing. And this is also why the reason it was difficult for me to create the future state alone. However, I was able to identify improvements which the production manager was satisfied of. I learned to use Visio, which is a professional diagram and route diagram software, and Excel on an intermediate level, and all of it were self-taught. And I used Pareto analysis to base decision making, which managers like to see because of its rationality. So you have to have something, not just, of course you can use some gut feeling, but most of it has to be objective. I also worked with daily management, which was a completely new thing for me. Daily management is a systematic, fact-based, goal-oriented, active leadership style to manage operational performance. And I was part of the team identifying the key performance indicators in terms of 5 performance objectives and health and safety and environment objectives. I made the deployment presentation to operations employees and also determined ways to secure that suggestions for improvements are actually followed up. They have tried initiating this involvement with everybody, that when they have suggested improvements, they should come up with it, and the managers will do something, but it never really worked. I also participated in the Lean Journey project by Dansk Industry, where my colleague and I visited an external company as observers to learn how 5S and flow event takes place in practice. This was a really big learning point for me. Theoretically, 5S is a rather easy concept, but it requires a lot of effort in practice. There was also an external educator from Dansk Industry who came to DIVE to give an insight of how value stream mapping can be or should be used in practice. For me, it was very, very helpful to learn how to execute the future states, or the creation of future states, because as I mentioned earlier, I didn't have the experience. I've never tried it before, and it really requires to have the top management to be there, because it's their decision how they want the production setup should be. Of course, you can come up with improvements or suggested improvements, but in the end, it's their decision. What I learned from it is that you cannot fully, as I also mentioned earlier, that you cannot fully apply theory 100%. You can maybe use like 50% of it, and the rest, or 50 to 70% actually, and the rest you have to trust to your gut feeling that this can work in practice. Of course, you need to keep the rationales of the theories in mind. During my internship, there was a lack of guidance or frequent sparring with my mentor. The pro of it is that I learned to be independent, and the con is that it was difficult for me to get answer to my questions. And of course, I should have initiated asking for frequent sparring, maybe once a month or once every week. It was therefore a learning point for both parties, because my mentor also told me, yeah, he was too busy and he didn't really feel like he had given me enough time. But of course, in this case, he also just became a production manager. Before that, he was in the research and development department. So I got involved in different projects by actually being curious and persistent to be a part of it. And I would suggest that you do so, because managers tend to forget about you since they're busy, and the notion that you are just an intern. So, and being involved actually really makes you feel engaged and motivated, where you, of course, from the human resource management theory and the 5th semester, learn about more. The irony of it lies in that having a lot to do usually leads to stress, but this one for me really gave a good feeling of that I was learning a lot. So do not hesitate to ask what you can help with, and plus it gives you an experience if they give you something totally new or just something out of the curriculum for your internship. You will most likely also meet or learn how organizational politics works in real business world. For example, how a proposal can be easily vetoed down by top management. Overall, I will recommend taking the internship period because of the experience you get, both professional and personal. Of course, some GMM students already have work experience, so I guess it's not a necessary thing. There are a few things in the internship period that I think should be improved, which is regarding the adequacy of tasks given by the company to the intern before the internship period starts. I think it requires an evaluation if it is enough for the intern. It is a 5 months internship after all, so it's quite a long time. So it should be evaluated if you will have enough work to do. Another thing is to keep a close contact with your internship supervisor. So get a supervisor as soon as possible because they are very, very helpful when you get stuck. That's it, what I have to share, and if you have any questions, just contact me. You can find my email in this video. I wish you all good luck with the rest of your study, for those who already started and those who are totally new GMM students.